Imagine a backyard food system so ancient and so efficient that empires tried to ban it and failed. A system that feeds your family protein year-round, costs almost nothing to run, and gets more productive every single year you leave it alone. I spent time with farming families in rural Ohio who have quietly kept this system alive for generations. What they showed me permanently changed how I think about food, money, and self-reliance. And there is one technique at the very end of this video, so simple it sounds fake, that slashes feed costs by over 60%. No one in mainstream homesteading is talking about it. Stay until the end. This story begins in 475 BC. A Chinese farmer named Fan Li documented a method of backyard pond food production so effective that a single small pond could feed a family for decades, with no purchased feed, no outside inputs, and no dependence on anyone. His writings survived wars, famines, and the collapse of entire dynasties because the knowledge inside them was simply too valuable to lose. That same logic is what drew self-reliant farming families in America to adopt it quietly, generation after generation, behind their barns and beside their gardens. But here is the twist most people never hear. This system almost disappeared, not from neglect, but from a royal decree. In the 7th century, a Chinese emperor banned the farming of common carp across the entire empire. His family name sounded too similar to the word for carp, and he considered it an insult. Farmers who had relied on carp for over 1,000 years were suddenly forced to adapt or go hungry. What they invented under that pressure
was something more productive than anything before it. Instead of one fish species, farmers began stacking multiple species in the same pond, each one occupying a different layer of the water column. Bottom feeders cleaning the sediment, mid-water fish filtering algae, surface grazers eating floating plants. Nothing was wasted. Every species fed every other species. That accidental royal ban created the world's first true polyculture pond system, and it has been quietly running ever since.
Now here is what the system actually looks like in a backyard. There are 4 components, and they work together as one living machine. The first, and the piece almost every guide leaves out, is ducks. Ducks are not decoration. They are the biological engine of the entire system.
When ducks swim, they stir nutrients off the bottom. Their digestion returns nitrogen to the water. That nitrogen feeds algae. Algae feeds zooplankton. Zooplankton feeds fish. One small flock of 3 khaki Campbell ducks produces between 840 and 1,000 eggs per year, while simultaneously managing your pond ecosystem for free.
The second component is aquatic plants. Most beginners treat them as optional. They are not. Cattails along the shallow edges act as one of nature's most powerful biological filters, pulling excess nitrogen out of the water before it becomes a problem. Water lilies provide shade that cuts evaporation and keeps water temperatures stable. Submerged plants release oxygen. Floating plants absorb nutrients so efficiently that municipal water treatment facilities use them at industrial scale. Research shows aquatic plants can remove up to 90% of the nitrogen waste fish produce. The plants handle the filtration, you do nothing.
The third component is the fish. For most of the United States, bluegill and channel catfish are your best starting choices. Bluegill reproduce on their own once established. Channel catfish reach 1 to 2 pounds within 18 months in a well-balanced pond. Stock them once, maintain a breeding population at each harvest, and the system feeds itself indefinitely. The fourth component is the invisible one, beneficial bacteria. These microorganisms convert fish waste into plant fertilizer. Fish produce it, bacteria process it, plants absorb it. Plants clean the water, fish stay healthy. Once this cycle locks in, the pond runs itself. You are not managing a farm. You are tending a living ecosystem that has worked without human help for millions of years. So what does this actually cost? A family-scale pond, roughly 10 feet by 15 feet, 4 to 5 feet deep at the center, runs between $400 and $600 total. That covers a liner, your initial fish fingerlings, a small starter flock of ducks, and basic aquatic plants. Compare that to a single year of grocery store protein bills, and the math is hard to ignore.
Building it is straightforward. Pick the lowest point on your property where water already collects naturally. Dig a shallow shelf around the edges, 1 foot deep, 2 to 3 feet wide, for your plant zone. Center depth goes 4 to 5 feet. If you have clay soil, line it with 6 inches of compacted wet clay. The same method used for thousands of years. Sandy or rocky soil gets an EPDM rubber liner that lasts 20 to 30 years. Introduce life in stages. Plants first. Give them 2 to 4 weeks to root. Then, ducks. Within days, the pond activates. The water clouds slightly as ducks stir the sediment. This is not a problem. This is the ecosystem waking up. A month later, add your fish. About 50 fingerlings per 1,000 gallons. They will vanish into the deep water immediately. Do not add more. They are down there, growing. By month 6, you will see silver flashes at the surface. By year 1, your ducks will have laid somewhere between 700 and 900 eggs, and your fish will be approaching harvestable size. By year 3, you are not running a project anymore. You are simply harvesting from a living system that has woven itself permanently into your land. Now, I promised you something at the start, something I have never seen in a mainstream homesteading guide. A farmer I visited showed me this on my second trip out. He called it the simplest free food on earth. The plant is duckweed. Not duckweed as something floating in a neglected pond. Duckweed cultivated deliberately, harvested strategically, used as a self-replicating protein source that costs absolutely nothing once it is established. Under the right conditions, duckweed doubles its total biomass in fewer than 48 hours. It contains between 35 and 45% crude protein by dry weight, higher than soybean meal, which is the foundation of the entire commercial poultry and fish feed industry. Your ducks eat it as fast as it grows. Your fish eat what the ducks miss, and the duckweed absorbs nitrogen from their waste, cleaning the water at the same time it produces food. It is simultaneously a filter, a fertilizer, and a free feed crop. That farmer had not bought commercial duck feed in over 4 years. My own feed costs dropped by more than 60% within 2 years of running the same system. What you just learned is not a homesteading trick. It is the recovery of a biological truth that has fed more human beings across more centuries than any other protein system ever built. And that has been quietly replaced by an industrial food model that only works if you keep buying from it. Every bag of feed you purchase is a vote for dependence. Every pond you build is a vote against it. Tell me in the comments, which part of this are you building first? The pond, the ducks, or the duckweed? And subscribe, because what we are uncovering next makes this look like just the beginning.